Hello and welcome to Overcome a Mental Health Podcast. We're excited for all of you to be here and join us today. Uh, I'm very excited to talk to today's guest. I'd like to introduce you to Nathan Buttigieg.
What's up,
Uh,
everyone? What's up, Travis?
yeah, we're going to just jump right in and have him tell a story. He has quite a journey to take us on. So why don't we go ahead and hand you the microphone there?
Well, let's start in just before COVID lockdowns. Probably no one probably knows. I'm from Australia, Melbourne area, so lockdowns here were pretty crazy. Um, Everything was going all good in my life. I was working at a gym, loving everything. My training was going good, um, and then I had a house, had a girlfriend, all that kind of stuff, and then lockdowns hit. I lost the job I loved, and the girl that I was with, we split up and we moved on from that house. I was completely broke. I had no job. Actually, I was less than broke. I owed about $15,000 in credit card debt and loans and everything like that. The only option really I had was to move back here with mum and dad, which was 3 hours away from where I lived. From there, I came back with no job, no money, no nothing really. My friend groups obviously changed. I moved away from them, and then as to cope with the fact that I thought I was a massive failure. I was 22 years old, by the way. I lost everything at 22 years old. To cope, I started drinking, started doing cocaine, and that was a spiral of about 2.5 years where I struggled with all that kind of stuff. I gave up my training, gave up gym, gave up everything except for I worked a little bit and I drank a lot and I not even partied. I used to just drive around and sniff cocaine on my own. It wasn't even cool parties and stuff like that. So yeah, and then overcame that. Uh, First the alcohol went and then the cocaine went, and now I help people improve themselves and therefore their life in getting in shape, getting their mind right, getting away from vices and things that try to control us. Yeah, that's kind of like a brief run through of everything.
So I have a question for you. When the COVID lockdowns first happened, where was your mental health at? How did you take that? Like,
I was fully depressed. No, it was the most depressed I've been for 3 days before I came back to mum and dad's house. I remember, so I was going to, me and the chick had already split up. I was going to move to a friend's house where I was. And then, so my parents came up and picked up all the big stuff. They bring a truck up and picked up, like the dresser and the couches and all that kind of stuff. And they took that back. So I only had a mattress in my house and like my blankets that I slept on, and everything else was pretty much gone, right? So I remember everything shut down. And for 3 days, I slept straight. Like I woke up, no, nothing for me to do. Nothing's changed. Back to bed. Wake up. Nothing's changed. Nothing. It was just. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was like huge depression. I just didn't want to do anything. Everything I could do, I couldn't do anymore. That was probably the lowest I've been. But I'm not one to like sit in it. After those 3 days, I woke up one night at like 1 a.m. or something like that. I was like, oh, we've got to sort out something. Like, I've got to eat some food because I hadn't eaten, barely drinking any water or anything like that. And I packed the rest of the stuff in my car and then, yeah, boosted it to mum and dad's and got to mum and dad's at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I remember mum opened the door and she's like, oh, we're expecting you here. And I said, like, can I stay here for a bit? I've got nothing else. And I'm still here. So he's still here after that. We built a tiny home on their property. I'm looking to move away next year, but yeah, still here.
the important thing is that you're rebuilding yourself, after overcoming something so difficult.
Yeah, that's right. When you have first of all, I was 20. Like I said, I was 22 years old, so I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't really been through anything at that age. The biggest thing I'd been through before that was just a normal breakup when I was like 18 years old or something like that, 17 years old. So having like your full life ripped out on you was kind of like it was like a divorce. You split everything and not only that, but your job changes and your friend group changes, and now you've got to go back to where you're from, and you don't have friends there either because you moved away like five. I was up there for 5 years, so yeah, it was pretty rough for 22. I'm 27 now.
It seems crazy that it's already like been that long since all that stuff went down, like with the world and COVID
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. Well, some people forget about it. I think the ones that were impacted by it will never forget, and I'm honestly grateful for it because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be moved down here, and I wouldn't be coaching and helping people online and. So it turned out to be a good thing, but it was at the time it didn't feel like it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's, and you mentioned too that when you felt depressed and started feeling depressed, you were in denial, and it's amazing how like just being in denial, like when you feel any mental health issue come on, like it just pushes you back, keeps you from moving forward. I
Yeah,
can
well,
I can speak to
big
that
thing
from
is
experience.
big thing is you don't even want to feel anything. You kind of like
Hmm.
just suppress everything. So you just keep drinking more, keep having fun more. Keep talking to more girls, keep snorting more coke. It's just a cycle of like you just avoiding all the accountability that's in there if you stop. As soon as you're
Hmm.
quiet, your conscience tells you what's up. But
And with your cocaine and your like alcohol, like what was that turning point where you're like, okay, you know what, I've been doing this long enough, like I need to get my life straightened out. Like what was that
yeah,
point where you hit the bottom?
I dropped alcohol first. That went first, and I remember just the day after Christmas in like 2020 or 2021. I was like, I just can't do this anymore. Like I was blacking out most nights. If you don't know what blacking out is, that was when you're having fun at a party or you're drinking or whatever, and then boom, you just wake up in the morning. And you got a totally a memory is just gone of your life. That was always a bad feeling, and then it started happening all the time because I was having so much all the time. And then it was just the silly stuff you do. You send text messages to your boss, you send text messages to like the girl, and then call someone. I was just doing stupid shit. I was on my own all the time, and I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be, admired and not looked at like a joke all the time. So the drink went first, and then in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm not drinking anymore. When I go out, I'm just gonna sniff coke. So what they call dry sniffed for a long time, where it was just coke. I didn't drink or anything for about a year and a half after that. And then had a massive I guess wake up, but it was just like an episode the last time I had Coke, whether there was something in it, whether I just had too much. But yeah, it was like got access to all the evil parts of my brain and it was fucking just torture really. So that scared me straight, which is good.
Yeah, yeah. I've never personally done drugs, but I can relate to that to a bit because I have a seizure disorder, and when I first started having it, they put me on some hardcore anti-seizure medication, and I was on a very high dosage to settle them down, and I started hallucinating. Like it was stuff like one time when I was like trapped in a box. I remember a bunch of like army guys coming and telling me that my family's going to die and they're going to kill me. So it was like really creepy stuff. And it's like when
Yeah,
that happens, you're like, I'm done. Like this is it. I can't do
yeah,
this
that was.
anymore.
I didn't. It was for people that have never done cocaine before. After you've had your fun, obviously cocaine's still in your system, right? So, but by this time you want to go to sleep. You've been up for like whether it's 18 hours. Where I was up for about 32 hours or nearly 40 hours or something like that. I don't know. Time kind of just went like all weird. Um, but there's gonna be a point where after you've had your fun, you're gonna try to sleep, and you're just gonna lay in bed and your mind is going to be so awake, but your body will be sore and tired. So you spend most of the time just staring at your eyelids or staring at the roof for hours before you really go to sleep. And this time was like when I was trying to go to sleep, it was just a highlight reel of all my biggest fears, and I don't know, I can't really like envision it. I mean, like put it into words, but it was like fully like my mind was against me. Like I had like it was like torturing me. All my fears, all the like bad things. Like your brain, we know like ourselves better than anyone, and it was just like my brain was fully aware of like what I didn't want to see, and was showing like a hours of that, and it scared the shit out of me. I woke up the next day, and I said to myself like I was fully talking to demons at the time. It was crazy.
Well, it's amazing, like what the brain can do and what it's capable of. To be honest, like it's
Yeah, for sure.
and
It can be for
with
you or against you. That's for sure.
oh yes. And what did this like? What did this do to your relationships in life? Did it like were they going bad? Like did it hurt them at all, or nothing really changed?
When I was drinking and
When
doing drugs all the
yeah,
time, yeah, I wasn't I couldn't like I couldn't connect with people because I was avoiding myself, you know. Like I was able to talk with people. I was able to like I had like I guess I'm known girls like during the time and had like girlfriends that weren't like official as we call it in the Western world. We weren't like boyfriend and girlfriend. I was just seeing girls. But none of it was really like a real connection, you know. And the thing is too, like no one wants to be around someone that drinks all the time. So it was yeah, nothing really stuck. I couldn't connect properly, man. I didn't know myself. Wasn't you can't try to be with someone when you're not fully healed. And I wasn't even trying to heal.
yeah, and sometimes like trying to heal, like you have to admit you have that problem first in
Mm.
order to actually get through it.
Yeah, it was actually one of the girls that like woke me up to how much I drank because I didn't really know how much I drank. It never really like occurred to me because from when we were young, like 14 years old, we were drinking around fires and stuff. I'm from the country out here, so we used to just get yeah, just drunk around fires. That was a normal thing, and whoever could drink the most was the coolest. And I didn't really know that like it was not really I knew it was a bad thing, but wasn't really like didn't really know it would affect me until some girl said she's like, oh, I can't really be with someone that drinks so much. I thought I could, and I was like, fuck, is that a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing. So
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's part of your culture, so
you
like you
just
don't
never
see the
know.
problem. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah. When I was younger, I didn't realize until like life adversity hit when I was 22. But I was that's the way I learned to cope with things was just to drink and have fun and kind of just ignore it and be a man and all those kind of things. And it's yeah. Then massive life hardship came and that vice or that weak way of dealing with things like poked its big head out and yeah.
and how are you able to overcome all this? Like from what it sounds like, you didn't really get professional help. You basically did it all on your own.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to podcasts and stuff. It was all like self-source info. I was too shameful to speak to anyone about it. Really, my parents didn't even know I was doing drugs until I got on camera and told the world to try to I don't know, just tell a story and help some ears and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing is I had to lean back into gym. Like I got back into gym. I was training before consistently for about 6 days, and then you know, I started first of all waking up, eating the right food, going to gym, just focusing on building myself, having a dream of the person I wanted to be, rather than nothing, man. Just living day to day. When you have no dreams and no goals, it's very easy to wake up one day and then just write it off. It doesn't matter if I lay in bed. It doesn't matter if I, you know, get drunk as fuck. It doesn't matter if I do drugs because there's nothing that I'm aiming for anyway. It's very dangerous to have no dreams and no real goals, you know. And I didn't at the time, so. But yeah, I just started. I wanted to be attractive. I wanted to be smart. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be the people that the person that people looked at for answers. I wanted to be all these things, and I'm like, if I keep doing this shit, then it's just it can't happen. So yeah, I started working out. I started you know, writing, thinking about my thoughts, and spending a long time in solitude. And yeah, that pulled me out of it. And that's what I give to everyone else. You wake up at the right time. You eat the right food. You work out. It's very hard to be depressed from that when you're constantly proving to yourself that uh, you're proud of yourself and you're going to keep doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on the same lines there. Changing my diet and eating better changed my life. Like it brought me out of the darkness that I was in. It's
Yeah.
at the end of last year, I went through some medical problems,
Mhm.
and I finally changed my diet, and I haven't had any signs of seizures or migraines. My mental health is way better, and that's when I decided to actually start this podcast. And now it's like, before it was like my family that gave me motivation. I have 3 young kids, and I'm married, so like that was the reason I lived, and still the reason I live. But now it's like I have something to focus on and something I'm very passionate about to keep me going.
Mhm. You have like a mission.
Mm-hmm.
You need people.
Exactly.
You need people that you love deeply, and you like. I want to be better for them, and like a mission to go for to better, your life, a purpose. If like you slack off for a week, then your podcast will slack off, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, food does a whole lot, man. You don't really notice it, like you said, when you're in it, when you're eating junk and all that kind of stuff. Just eating whatever you want, stuffing your face whenever you want to eat. When you can stick to it doesn't even need to be that clean, but when you can stick to a plan of eating properly and eating like, not overeating and controlling that side of it, you'll anyway, I tell everyone that's going through like a hard ass diet, you'll learn more about yourself than any time.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'd say my diet now is not like I still eat some processed stuff, but it's really just taking out the sugars and eating more proteins, more grains, and like vegetables and that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's got to
And
be like,
it's yeah,
80% whole foods, 20.
yeah,
You're going to have ice cream, you're going to have chips, you're going to have chocolate.
yep,
Like we live in the
yep.
Western world, that stuff's everywhere, and it's good as too.
It's yeah, and
Uh,
it's just basically being able to hold yourself back and be like, you know what, I can't get those chips today. I can't eat that ice cream today.
yeah, it does a lot for you too.
Mm-hmm.
It builds strength in your will that you can hold back on things that even you're like, oh, what's a packet of chips? Well, it's like, well, if you say no to it, you're gonna actually like you're gonna be really proud of yourself. So it's like not what happens if you eat it, what happens if you don't and you hold back. The strength's always in the restraint with anything, not just with food, with drugs, with alcohol, with anything that in your conscience that's like gaining control of you. You can't say no to it, whether it's a person or anything. Restraining yourself it'll always give you a massive boost. And if you do that constantly throughout the day, someone offers you a cupcake, like, no, I can't have a cupcake. I got a meal with me. I'm gonna have chicken and rice. Then like 1 week is that you'll be a different person afterwards.
Yeah, my wife and I were in the grocery store last night, and it was the first time. Well, not the first time, but I can finally walk down the aisle. I can look at a Coke or like a Pepsi and be like, you know what? I don't really want that. Like I know like it has all the garbage in there,
Hmm.
but I'm not even wanting to reach out and grab it anymore because it
Yeah,
just doesn't sound good.
the ability to say no to things and choose purpose over pleasure is that'll change your life. Most people just can't say no. They can't say no to their friends. They can't say no to the food. They can't say no like to themselves. So they just take everything as it comes. But when you really have like a real goal within yourself to be a better person, all that stuff is like, no, if I have that, like it'll taste good, but I'll probably feel shit. If I drink that drink, then like I'll probably be wasted tomorrow and I'll be worse off. I got stuff to do. And yeah, it's a powerful thing. Well, no is a powerful thing for sure.
And now I'm curious, like, what point did you think, oh, like I want to do something to help people? Was that like when you were coming off stuff and you just posted a video, or
So
did
I
you
was
always want to
like,
do something?
I was like maybe 1 or 2 years, probably 2 years fully sober. I started uploading just on Snapchat, just speaking my mind, having like an outlet kind of thing, just writing heaps and talking on camera and stuff like that. And then I was obviously on Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, but I never really had the idea of like being a coach was like it would. I thought it would be like a cool idea when I was like growing up and stuff like that, but I never like thought I'd be doing it. And then it wasn't till I seen content where the dude was saying, "You're selfish for knowing how to overcome something, whether it be like, you know, people struggle. The biggest struggles people have is one, being overweight, two, alcohol, and three, drugs. No, before money or anything like that. That's the things that people always struggle with. and he was saying that you're selfish for not helping people when or giving out information or just doing your part when you have done it before. And I was like, fuck it. It kind of just clicked that I have to, try. So I
Hmm.
started just uploading content. People started messaging me. Um, I've got this problem. How do I do this? And yeah, started working with people one on one. Now I build programs for them. We set up workouts. I'll do your nutrition for you, and then we'll do team calls every week where we cover mindset stuff and all the barriers that you got to go through to be the version of yourself that you want to be inside, but you can't get out.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, I think we need more people that are willing to step out of their comfort zone and spread knowledge, like, and help people out because there's so many people that are struggling and you don't even know about it.
Yeah, it really does feel like more of an obligation than anything. It's a job one, but and it's like I do love to do it. I love working with people, but really most days I'm like I gotta post because I just fucking have to. There might be one person that sees it that it changes their mind, or seeing someone seeing me work out every day on my story might like, oh, I want to be that instead of go for a drink. And I get messages all the time. People like, I stopped drinking, I stopped doing drugs a year ago and stuff. And your content helped me, and that fills my heart. That's the best thing ever. But really, it's just an obligation. I feel like a drive within myself that I have to do it.
Yeah, that's cool that you're getting those messages though, and people are reaching out and saying, you know what, that's you changed my life. Like,
Sometimes you forget. Sometimes you get so in the motion of just doing the job and like doing what you're supposed to do and pushing past all the times you don't want to. And then you get a message and you're like, God damn, that's why I do it, I guess. You don't even realize how many people you impact or how big of it or small of an impact you have until you get that kind of message. That's why I'm always telling people, like, ask questions, fucking like talk to me online, because otherwise it's just like me posting, talking to myself and to the
yeah,
fucking camera and stuff, like
yeah. I'm still trying to get used to the camera part of it. I don't like the looks of myself on camera, so like, but
yeah.
I'm getting a little bit better.
You got to change the things that you don't like about yourself. That's the biggest thing. Everyone tries to brute force it, and like they, they still feel insecure. Just change all the things. If you don't like the way, whatever it is, your hair, whatever, you got to change it. Change it to
Hmm.
a thing you do like. I changed. Like I got on camera with dreads. I had fucking like long ass dreads, top knot dreads. And
Yeah,
after I was viewing myself all the time, I was like, damn, is this what people have been looking at this entire time? So I cut it all up. I got sharp. I started changing the way I dress because you never look at yourself like that. You never look at yourself
hmm,
like just midday. You never see like how you walk and how you talk, and you're like, yeah, that's mainly the reason people don't like being on camera because they don't really like looking at themselves. And I'm always like, well, that's what we've got to look at. You know, we've got to look
yeah,
at you like
yeah,
that. So
yeah. And I think that for a while with me it was just like, I was struggle with being a little bit overweight. I've lost a lot of about 35 to 40 pounds recently, the last like 3 or 4 months, and that's just by eating better.
mhm.
So now I'm actually starting to gain a little bit like more respect for the way I look. It's really helped out with my like self image.
Yeah, you get not real lean, but you get like in shape. You start putting on muscle and stuff like that. It's not just like that you look better. The man you're looking at in the mirror, you're proud of too. Like, or the man you're
Hmm.
looking at in the phone, you're proud of. So it's not like a thing of you looking at yourself being like, damn, there's all this shame and regret when I look at myself. It's a
Yeah, and
subconscious
this,
thing as well, not just a visual. Like, you don't have to be good looking, but you just have to be proud of yourself when you look at yourself.
yeah, and that's where I'm finally getting. I feel like I'm getting to in life is like I can finally look in the mirror and be like, you know what, like I actually look good. Like I look way better than I did. Like I'm improving. I still have stuff to work on, but I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
So do you like going back to your like addiction? Do you still have like how do you cope with like cravings and triggers? Like
I don't. There's nothing now. Once you
there's nothing now.
once you really make up your mind that that stuff is just in no way, shape, or form good for you, and you kind of I've got dreams and goals now where like I don't care about anything else. If it doesn't have like even like we went out for dinner last night. I went with I met my girlfriend's dad. We went out for dinner last night, and I was like, damn, I still got all this shit to do, and I got to like work out all this stuff. I was there, like I had a good time and stuff, but like when you're really on the path, nothing feels better than being on the path. Like I mean, you do, but you don't care about sex. You don't care about like the bad food. You don't care about nothing. You just want to do your job as a being.
And somebody like that's like struggling right now with um, addiction, what would you tell them to like kind of start the steps to recovery?
You got to stop making yourself feel good about it. That's the biggest thing. People always do this thing where they know they're impacting their family, they know they're impacting, their kids or their loved ones or the people they love in their life. They know that their actions are impacting them, but they always do this thing where like, yeah, but I'm really going through stuff, or it's really hard over here, so I've got to do all this stuff. You got to get rid of all that shit. Your actions, your habits, and who you are impacting the people you love. And if your actions and who you are is negative, then you're impacting your people in a negative way. It's selfish as to keep going down a bad path because it doesn't matter if you talk to one person or if you talk to 1,000, you're making an impact. You're giving us you every day. So it's just you got to take yourself out of yourself. Your problems, your sadness, your trauma, your whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's the people you love. You want to bring them the best version of you. And if you really loved your people, you would bring them the best in everything, including yourself.
Love it. Good stuff. Uh, and what is I just lost. I do this all the time. I lose my train of thought. Like I
I do that
have
shit all
something
the
good
time,
going,
man.
and then
Yeah. I just get good at talking. I talk flat out. So, well, good. But yeah, people that are struggling, dude, you got to start looking at who you're giving to other people. You are a gift to the world as a being. That being cannot be a gift if you are constantly wrecking yourself with drugs, constantly wrecking yourself with food, constantly wrecking your self-esteem with not being able to say no and knowing that you're controlled by these outside things. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I realize is that I'm a gift. I can't be a gift if I'm fucking myself up.
and what like is the hardest part about like recovering from addiction?
Being alone so much. You're going to lose a lot of your friends because a lot of your friends aren't your friends right now. They're just people that you do stuff with. And the moment you stop doing the stuff, then they're going to go, It's just what it is. So you're going to be alone a lot. And it's one of two things are going to happen. One, you won't be able to cope with it. You're going to go back to those old friends, back to those old habits. Or two, you're going to learn a ton about yourself and become this totally new person on the other side of it. Because solitude always brings clarity and you'll move straight into it. But there's this big gap, this big bridge of being alone and being in solitude, and you either learn to love it or you can't stand it and you go back.
Yeah, and uh, speaking of like losing friends and stuff, you they're bringing in the negative things in your life. Like you can't afford to have them. Like
No, and you won't. If you really want to change, you won't choose to be around them at all. I love the boys I used to run with. And I had different friends groups. I had friends I used to drink with, and I had friends I used to do coke with. And all them boys are good as they're good people, man. They might make bad choices, they might have bad habits, but they got good hearts. But I just can't hang out with them, man. I don't want to do that stuff. I don't even want to hang out that much. I like working. I like, you can come for a workout. We'll have a chat then. But like just going out getting food, like there has to be a kind of a reason for it now. It's when you choose purpose over pleasure for so long, like things need you need to be able to get something from it. It's not like get something from you, but you know we're having a conversation right now because it'll both benefit us with one, your podcast, and two, my content. Like it's just how it works. The higher you get, it's just more about what you bring to the table and what you have to offer than like just that, we're friends and wasting time.
yeah, exactly. And it's also I think it's great like doing this, like just hearing everybody's stories. Like just like realizing like all the darkness and stuff that I went through. We've all been through our crap. Like uh, your darkness may have been different than mine, but we still went through it.
But we still suffered the same things. We still
Mm-hmm.
suffered the same emotions. We still, it's just how far you go down it. Depression feels the same whether you know we're across the world or whether someone's black, white, Asian, whether
Mm-hmm.
whatever. We all hurt the same. We all, yeah. That's why I say like, well, not me. The old Stoics, Marcus Aurelius used to say, every man's the same. We just have different habits. We all feel the same stuff. We all have the same fixes. It's just whether we're willing to realize it.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree, and it's what you choose to do with it too.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, for sure. We all suffer the same. We all go through the same stuff. But if you don't think that, like, you're just still the victim that you shouldn't be. Everyone suffers. It's just whether they're able to push through it or whether they're not.
Oh, yeah, and you speak like about being the victim, and I spent years and years like
Oh, me
playing
too.
the victim, and
Yeah.
and it's like I didn't even realize that I was playing the victim until I actually went to therapy, and he's like, "No, you need to change that mindset. Like you need to get out of thinking that way, or else you're always going to be the victim."
Yeah, that's right. If you're choosing weakness all the time, then that's what you'll be. If you choose to, this thing won't hold me down. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to stay depressed. I want to be strong. I want to be admired and all this kind of stuff. If you look at it like that, then yeah, the victim stuff. We all get caught in it, man. Even like day to day stuff, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to do a workout. Like my back's sore or my legs are sore from yesterday. That's still like you being a victim. It's just whether you're being tested constantly, whether you're going to overcome stuff. And the more things that you push through and overcome, the more opportunities you get. The universe likes us being stoic and being hard and being tough and doing things that we need to do. It doesn't like us giving up on it because we're sore or because we got a headache or just something like that. We get more if we do more.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like the more I push through my stuff, like it's the easier it is to um, but continue doing.
Mhm. Yeah, whatever you do, like on a regular basis, it becomes easier. If you're being lazier on a regular basis, that becomes easier. If you're, winning on a regular basis, that becomes easier. You get like winning streaks and stuff. If you're like doing stuff and pushing through all the weakness on a regular basis, that becomes easier.
And those think back to like the times that you're feeling like really depressed. Like, what would you say to a person now that is feeling alone?
Feeling alone,
Yeah, like feeling the darkness, feeling alone. Like, what tips would you give to them?
you just got to build a dream, bro. You gotta actually have goals, and you're suffering for no reason. When you're in depression, when you're fully sad or whatever it is, maybe it's just like your hopelessness or whatever. You're suffering for no end goal. When you're suffering for a goal, whether it's just I want to get a six pack, or whether it's like I want to build a podcast, or I want to build an online brand, or build a business, or you've got a mission, then all the suffering becomes part of the process. You're like, oh, this is really hard. I'm so glad I'm doing it. Or um, you've got a purpose to your suffering. If you're just suffering for no reason, it's you need ambitions, you need proper goals, you need to be able to, who do you want to be, how do you want to live your life, how would you do it if money wasn't an issue? Like, build this vision in your head of the man you want to be and the life you want to live, and then yeah, then at least the suffering is like worth it. Like I said, whether you're stuck in a hole, or whether you're earning $10,000 a week or $50,000 a week, the suffering is still the same. It's still depression either way. But it's just whether what it's for. What are you gonna what are you suffering for?
Yeah, and it all goes back to what you said before, finding that purpose. And I'd like to add one thing on there, if I could, is invest in yourself. If you find a goal, like invest the time and like the money, a little bit's money if you have it, and Like, do what you need to do to get to the next step.
Yeah, building yourself should be the first step for everyone. We need to make you right before you go into any area. Otherwise, you're going to get in the area of business, you're going to earn money, and then you're going to put it in your arm because you're a drug addict. Or like you're going to stuff your face and become fat ass. Now you're a rich fat fuck. We got to get you right, get past all these mindset blocks, and have you like fully confident, fully loving yourself, and then move into any other area. Getting someone right is the biggest thing.
Yeah. So if you could think back to like your former self, and what advice would you give your past self? Like, what would it be?
I'm just hugely impulsive and hugely obsessive. Whether that's alcohol, whether that's coke, whether that's whatever. I act quickly, and I'm easily committed to something. When I was drinking, I just wanted to be the dude that drinks the most. When I was like snorting coke, I just wanted to be like the person that always had coke on them. It's just that same thing can go into other areas, and you can be impulsive and obsessive and fully committed to the business that you're building, or like to your partner, or to things that are good instead of things that are constantly ruining your life. But yeah, for me it was just like I just loved the moment, and I just wanted, like, when we got drunk, I just wanted it to last forever, and um you know never really wanted to face the accountability of the next day. But yeah, I do things like habitual normally. Like I drink at the same time every day, or I'd like do coke like on the weekends, go to the same dude, do the same stuff. Like and now it's like if you see my content, it shows through it because I wake up at the same time every
Mm-hmm.
day. I'm doing the same workouts every week. It's just habitual, and most drug addicts are like that too. They're very systematic. They it's just whether the habits are doing something for them or whether it's destroying them.
Just changing the habits for the better.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. You need something else. You can't just stop smoking. It's like you stop smoking and chew gum, or you do something in the time that you would have been smoking. If you just stop it, then you just bored. You need something else to go for.
So, and making sure that everything is pretty much answered. Like you, uh, do you still feel like any of the depression come on at all, or are you way past that?
Oh, I get days, of course, yeah, but it's just I gotta, I just know if I stick to my habits, if I wake up, even though I'm tired as, and just tell my, I wake up sometimes, I can't be fucked with anything. I don't care about nothing. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care about the people that I'm posted with. I don't care about nothing. But I know as soon as I'm on the other side of that workout, I'm going to be 10 times better. And I've done it enough to realize that there is no time ever that I've woken up depressed or woken up, not giving a shit. Because that's what depression is. Depression is like hopelessness. Your body's tired or your mind's tired, and you just stop caring about everything, including the people you love. I just know on the other side of that workout, it's going to bring me up. And then I'm going to be at a point where I, love what I do, or, I love my partner because I love myself because I did the workout and pushed through it. So I just got a morning system now, and it's a daily system. I work out twice a day, where I just know if I follow it, it'll all be good. It might not be perfect, but it'll be good. So yeah, I still suffer and stuff, but I just won't sit there and do nothing about it. I'll just still do the same stuff.
Yeah, and it's all like my therapist told me not too long ago that like we can't get rid of anxiety, depression, or like anything that we're going through in that way. We just need to learn how to cope with it. We need to learn how to get past it and work through it.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. There's never going to be a time where you hit a workout and you feel worse about yourself. You're always going to
Yeah.
feel better. So you just got to get doing something. It's just like you look at it this way: when you're depressed and when you're sad, or when you're angry, that look at that as your enemy. Are you gonna let that depression win, and you're gonna like give up on everything? Because everyone's like, oh, it's just one day off, it's just one beer, it's just. Well, it's like no, because it'll snowball, and make the next day
Mm-hmm.
harder, and you drink more the next day, and then like you let yourself off the hook a little bit. One little cheat becomes a big cheat. So it's you can't let it win, man. You just battle against it. You say, "Oh, if I do this workout, then depression can't do shit with me." and then you hit the
Mm-hmm.
workout. Then he's like, I'm a stud. What else can I do? What else can I overcome?
Yeah. Yeah, it helps you definitely, like, sticking to something definitely helps you push through everything and be like, you know what? I'm feeling really good about myself now.
Yeah. Don't look. I never look at weakness as like as a good thing. I look at weakness as soon as it shows its head. I look at that as the enemy, and I'm now battling myself as the low. Like I'm battling the lower version of myself. I'm not going to let it win. A weakness should never be something that someone's like, oh, I was going to work out yesterday, but I was really sad. It's like you should feel ashamed of yourself. You just let that win. You let the lower part of yourself. You let the sad part of yourself win. I just never do it. I would never do it. I would never let that weakness win, because if it wins this time, it'll win another time, and then I'll be snowballing to a point where I'm putting coke up my nose. It's just, you just got to stay on top of it. The weakness in you is the enemy. You have to go to war against yourself, and it's a daily process for everyone.
Mm-hmm. You reminded me of something that's been brought up a couple times on the show is uh, like the different like emotions that we go through, depression, anxiety, and the different kind of mental health issues. Uh, if we really learn to get and learn about them, we can also use them as a superpower. Like
Mhm.
they could actually bring out the strengths in us. And it's like for
I'm
some
here.
reason when you were going through all that, you
I'm hugely competitive. So as soon as I have something to go against, which is always like just the little bitch inside of me, I'm always like, I always want to get it.
yeah, this is all good stuff. I love it. So you had mentioned like when you were trying to starting the road to recovery, you listen to podcasts and like read books and stuff. Like what any book that you would like recommend for anybody to get started, or podcast, I should say?
Podcast. I listened to a lot of Andy Frisella's first podcast, that Real AF podcast. But any mindset thing, you just want to, especially in a state where you're super low, you want to absorb other people's beliefs and values. People that are ahead of you in a lot of ways, whether they've built businesses or whether they've built a physique. You just want to listen to other people's stuff, because you're stuck in this kind of mindset of it can't be done. I don't know if it can. You're hearing people talk that they've accomplished so much, and you should dream massive, and you can do whatever you want to do, and all this kind of stuff. That'll bring you up. Like uh, as we speak, we're like conveying energy, whether it's through a screen or through your ears or in person. You wanna take other people's energy. But The Magic of Thinking Big is a great book for everyone that like is at the start and doesn't have a dream and doesn't have a goal, because we've got all these limitations on our mind that we're told to think realistically and all that kind of stuff. And then you just want to listen to people that bring you like back to reality. If you work hard, you will get it. It just might take longer. And if you don't have it, it's because you didn't work hard enough, and all that. But any mindset podcast, just don't listen to people that accept their own excuses and are massive victims for themselves. You want to listen to the people that are above it all, that try hard all the time, that won't let like I said before, that won't let like their weakness win. What you got to do is go to my Instagram page, Nathan Buttigieg, and then I'll bring you up. Okay, that's where you go. That's
That's I've been watching your stuff like to I love like hearing like um anything motivational and like so I've been paying attention and watching your stuff to build myself up.
Yeah, the biggest thing people have with me is just how consistent I am. Whenever they're feeling like, oh, I can't do it, and they've seen me do it for like 30 days straight, it just always brings people up. My clients are the same thing. They're like, how do you do it? I'm just like, well, one, I do it for you guys, and two, it's the same things I teach. I just every time I feel like not doing it, I look at that as a weakness and an enemy, and then I go against it.
So when you first get a client like come on to coach, like what's like one of the first things that you start teaching them, like start going through with them?
But first thing is we get your training sorted. We'll get you working out. if you don't have access to a gym, we're going to build something. Whether you have weights at home, whether we're going to do body workout stuff, we're going to build like a daily workout that you're going to do. It's not the same every day, but it's just you're going to be working out daily. We sort out that. And then we're going to sort out your macros. We're going to teach you how to track foods. I'm going to give you some suggested foods, stuff that are good macros. And then I'm going to give you a target of protein, fats, and carbs. And that's for you to hit every day. We're usually like 99 times out of 100, that person needs to lose weight. We need to see abs first before we do any gaining. So we're going to be cutting at the start. And then it's just, and then I tell you, once you got that, you got, now it's just you battling yourself, you finding more about yourself, all the mindset stuff you've got to overcome. So then we've got calls on the weekend where you're going to come to me and ask questions of like, oh, I'm struggling with motivation. I'm getting angry all the time, or whatever problem you have. And we're gonna me and you one-on-one, and we're gonna go through that. But once you have the program, once you have the training and dieting, everything else is just you trying to overcome yourself.
Yeah, and there's somebody that comes up to you and says, like, I'm lacking motivation. How do you
I'll
get them
say
to
me too,
overcome that?
man. Me too. I woke up this morning. I wanted to go back to bed. I was just like, oh, maybe I'll message him in time. I can't do it or something like that. But it's me too, man. It's the motivation that everyone talks about never comes from me. It's obligation. You want to be better.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be better for your people, for your family. Look at yourself in the mirror. Do you like what you look at? Do you like what you're giving? I'm gonna guess no, and make it better. It's not this. I don't feel like doing it any day. I feel better after I do it. That's probably about as much as I get. I always say you get motivation after you do hard things, not before. You get motivation when you go to gym and overcome yourself, not before. You never feel like doing it. But then after it, you're like, okay, I'm the best. What else can I do? I got all this stuff I got to do for the rest of the day. That's why I always wake up and work out straight away. The workouts are always in the morning, but it's afterwards. It's never before.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I can sit and make excuses all day, but it's not until I do it that I'm like, okay, well, I'm feeling a lot better now. Like, and it's still early on in the day. What else can I get done?
Yeah. Yeah. The biggest motivation hack is just forcing yourselves in positions where you have to do it. Okay. And that might just be convincing yourself that if you don't do it, then X, Y, and Z happens. Or if you don't do it, then your coach is going to ask why you didn't do it. Force
Mm-hmm.
yourselves in positions where you have to do it. Because like when you don't want to, like there's real bad times when nothing's going to make you do it. But if you can put yourself in a position where you have to, you will every time. You will. If you know that if you don't do it, then you got to speak to me on the weekend. And I'm going to ask why, and then you're going to have no excuse other than like, oh, I didn't want to. I'm like, really, I didn't want to either 5 times this week. It's not good enough. I'll just show you a
Yeah,
picture of yourself, like your last progress picture, and say, is this what you want to keep giving to people? And yeah, it's just no one wants
yeah.
to.
At that time, I'd like be hiding my face, like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
some sort
People
of
always
shame. Like
think like
I
I'm
didn't
not trying to
hold
make
myself
people.
accountable.
I'm not trying to ever bring
Oh
someone
no,
down.
no,
I'm just trying to bring
no.
them up.
But you have to hold them accountable, and
You
you
do,
have to
yeah.
get them to the point where they hold themselves accountable.
Yeah, for sure. And you're gonna get that through. We always change out of shame and guilt. You need to be brought there to be able to come back up. Me telling you that you're good and like you're doing really well and stuff, that's gonna do the opposite. You're gonna lose motivation because now you think you're nearly done. And we're never
Mm-hmm.
really done. We've always got so much to go with everyone. Now, if like you drop 30 kilos and you went from fat to abs, then I'll tell you you've done really well. It's respectable abs. You followed the program for 6 months, you killed it. But we need to be brought back to reality a lot. You're not doing as good as you think you're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, is there anything that we have not talked about that you want to bring up?
No, nothing, man. I just happy to speak.
I'm happy to have you here. I admire what you're doing and the way that you're changing people's lives and how you keep pushing through everything. Like your story is one that needs to be shared.
Just one by one. Same with you, man. With the podcast, it's always like whether you have one listener or 100, you're just doing it for one person. Whenever I
Mm-hmm.
whenever I like don't feel like posting, it's like, damn, if I post and the one person gets something from it, then it was worth it. I like the
Hmm.
quote of if you can go through your life and change one person's life in yours, then your life was worth living.
Well, yeah, and I think of the whole kind of pay it forward type attitude type thing where it's like, you change one person's life and they may take something from you and just kind of push it forward and be like, you know what,
Yeah,
like,
you just
well,
never know.
check
You just
this
never
out.
know
Yeah.
the impact. Yeah, it really is like, yeah, I just got on social media literally just to tell my story, just because it was kind of like a fear overcoming thing for me. And now all these people are getting something from it, and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they'll change their families' lives. And it's just,
Hmm.
it's huge. I got goosebumps right now. You just never know the ripple effect from what you can do if it's good and bad and bad. Bad
Yeah.
happens the same. Negative is the same. Negative moves quicker, actually. So if you're participating in negative shit all the time, understand that people you love are getting that from you. So
And so what last minute advice would you give to like anybody that's like struggling emotionally, like with mental health right now?
go to war against it, and you need to you need to start doing something in training, dieting, something like physically. You need a mission to be better. But you shouldn't accept that for yourself. You deserve a great life, and that great life isn't sitting in depression. It's waiting for you on the other side of hard things.
Awesome. And if where can I know you've mentioned Instagram, but where can people find you?
Yeah, Instagram's the main thing. I'm enormously active on Instagram. If anyone like message me, I'm always replying within like an hour. Yeah, follow me there and send me a message. Nathan, it's just my name, Nathan Buttigieg, one word with an extra G on the end. I'm sure it'll be linked or something. Travis will sort that.
Yep. Yep. I'll link everything in the show notes for sure. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, and thanks to all the listeners. The best thing that you can do right now is share our content, give us a follow, give us a like, do all that fun stuff that you can do because it's always really helpful. And thanks again for listening. Until next time.